Everybody, welcome into another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast featuring my guy, Peach Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Got a special episode today, man. Real special.
Nice.
So instead of me, I'm gonna let you introduce why today is so special. Why we have such a great episode on the way.
All right, so today we actually gonna have a great interview for you guys. We're gonna be interviewing a guy big in my life, big personality for me, very big role model in my life. Somebody who's giving me plenty of opportunity, plenty of chances, and just done a lot for me in my life so far for the 2 years that I've known him. So without further ado, man, we want to welcome in my very own head coach here at Columbus State University, Mr. Coach Robert Moore.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
No problem, man. We glad to have you.
So take us in, man. Take us in, man. So you're the head coach at Columbus State University. What's that like?
It's a blessing and also a dream come true. I tell a lot of guys all the time, a lot of coaches in this business want to go Division I, but Columbus State Division II is my dream job. I mean, I bleed red, white, and blue every night. I want this program to win a national championship. And ever since I was an assistant coach, graduate assistant, student assistant, this is the seat I want to sit in. And, you know, I take a lot of pride in it. And I work hard every day to try to make this the best program in the country, Division II wise. Not looking to go anywhere else. You know, if a big time assistant job came up, NBA job, you got to consider it. But I'm living my dream every day, and that's what I go to work, wake up every morning, and thank the Lord for every day.
That's what's up, Coach. Hey, we enjoy playing for you. Well, I do. I can't speak for everybody, but I enjoy playing for you. But so take us into young Coach Moore. So before you got into coaching, before your playing days, what was your upbringing like? Tell the people where you're from, and a little bit about yourself in your early days.
I grew up in Macon, Georgia. Fell in love with the game of basketball at a young age, probably like 4 or 5 years old. My dad bought me and my brother 14 months apart. He's a principal and a basketball coach at Telfair County High School. I'm the oldest, and we just had some one-on-one battles. I can remember at a young age, 9, 10 years old, I'm playing my dad one-on-one, my brother one-on-one. We did it every Sunday after church. And then we'll go in there and watch the Celtics and Lakers battle with Larry Bird and Magic. But we used to have them one-on-one battles. And then I became a really good basketball player at a young age. Averaged like 30 points a game in Little League. Then went on up to middle school and high school. And I was a pretty good high school player. And I graduated from high school in 1987. I was the guy that shot the last shot in the state championship against Washington High of Atlanta in the Macon Coliseum. Where I'm from, the Macon Coliseum had like 10,000 people screaming and hollering. Took the shot, went in, came out. Went on to college, played at Milligan College in Johnson City, Tennessee, but I went the same route you did, Nelson. I went JUCO first. I started off at Georgia Military College, JUCO, 30 minutes from my house, and then I transferred to South College in Savannah, Georgia. The thing about South, we had guys from New York, New Jersey, so we had some really good players, Washington, D.C., and we were ranked in the country a few times. And so a lot of recruiters came through Savannah, Georgia, where the school was located. I ended up getting recruited by some big-time Division I schools. I got letters from Penn State, Georgia Southern, you name it. I got it at all levels, NAIA, D2, D1. Decided to go to Milligan College in Johnson City, Tennessee. A lot of people don't know about that school. In my class, the year I graduated in 91, I was the only African-American that graduated in that class. We only had three African-Americans total on the team. Dale Harris, that coached the Lakers, coached there, and Sonny Smith, longtime coach at Auburn, that coached Charles Barkley. He also played at Milligan. So I think Nelson, I'm the third best known person that came out of Milligan College compared to those two guys. But from my coaching career, after I finished playing at Milligan, I tried some CBA trials, played for a couple of teams. Didn't go the way I thought it would go because they weren't taking a whole lot of Americans overseas at the time. So I end up landing here in Columbus State as a grad assistant after I graduated from college. And I've been the head coach here for 13 years, had some stops in high school. Did 3 years at Tift County High School, 5 years at Brookstone, did 3 years at a JUCO called Abraham Baldwin in Tifton. So I've seen a lot of players, done a lot of coaching. So I feel like the experience take me where I am now. Some things I did when I was young, I wouldn't do now. And the basketball game has changed the way college basketball is compared to when I played. A lot different. You have to be more into your guys and understanding what they need and what they want. Where when I played, what the coach say goes, and you had to ride with that. But that ain't where the game is today. So you have to adjust with the times.
Take me back to those outdoor games, man. Did you win all the time, or was it a real competition?
It was pretty much a battle, man. I mean, my brother was a little stronger, 5'9", a little bowling ball type. Me and my dad was still the same height, about 6'1", 6'2". So we had the height advantage over my brother, so we just put him in the post. But more than anything, man, it was just that family bonding, man, and we still do that today. We don't get to go outside and play in the hoops, but we sit in the kitchen, eat a Sunday dinner, and just talk about those days, man. And nothing like family. And when Nelson graduated, a couple of weeks ago, I really understood where he was from and what his family all about, because I went to dinner with them after his graduation. And that's the kind of stuff I like to see, man, because everybody ain't going to make $1 million. Everybody ain't going to play in an NBA championship, but, you can have a good life with the game of basketball.
It's true, man. I came up kind of like that. Me and my brother, like 16 months apart, and he stopped growing. He about 5'10". My brother really was better than me growing up. And then around time I got to middle school, I kept on growing. I got 6'2", 6'3", in like the 7th grade. By 9th grade, I was 6'5", 6'4", 6'5".
Right.
And my brother used to tear me up in one-on-one for real. Like, I remember there was days we'll be out there playing one-on-one, and I would not let him go in the house until I won. Like, we finna play till I win. And when I started getting a little too tall, and he bottomed out at 5'10", and I got to be about 6'3", we kind of stopped playing after that. He didn't want to play no more. So I kind of know what that's like. But that definitely probably was my introduction to the game too. Playing my brother and like some of my little neighbor friends and stuff in the beginning. That was my introduction to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So who was your favorite player? I know you were you watched the Celtics and Lakers. So which team were you? Which player was your favorite player?
Magic Johnson, by far. Laker fan. My mom tell the story how I used to stay up and watch the NCAA Final Four. And, I just fell in love with basketball, just watching Magic, the way he played. I like the up-tempo style. Nelson will tell you that. And just watching Magic play with the Lakers, man, it just was one of those things you want to see. It was what they call it showtime. And it was showtime every time. And, when they had a rival like Larry Bird and the Celtics, well, nobody wanted the Lakers to win. They wanted the Celtics to win. It was just one of those things that I tell people all the time, I'm so happy that I came up in the era that I came up in, because I got to see the greatest man lace them up in Michael Jordan. And then I got to see the two guys, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, who I think saved the NBA. So I'm glad I got to see that.
So who would you say you really play? Like, if you had to give yourself an NBA player comparable, like, who would you say your game was kind of?
My game was probably more Isaiah Thomas. Hit the mid-range, get to the rack, get your teammates involved, leader. Just to have the size Magic had, even though Magic was my favorite player, but more like Isaiah Thomas, man. Just got everybody to get on board. It's amazing how that man got Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahone to play to his style. And they win the most flashiest players, but he got them to do their job to win championships. And, you can say what you want about him, but he got them guys to play to that level. And that's what I was all about as a young kid coming up, just getting my guys to play the way we needed to play to win games, man. And I can remember, that's why I think I'm in coaching now. I can remember we used to have 2-on-2 tournaments in my backyard, because we had the only asphalt court in my neighborhood. And my mom said I saved my allowance to buy the trophies to see who win it. And we would have games on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 o'clock in the afternoon after school, playing 2-on-2, man. And everybody had a partner. So I just organized and stuff like that. And I had a 5-on-5 team that went to every neighborhood on our bikes with somebody carrying the ball in a book bag and going to play another neighborhood 5-on-5. So I was good at organizing stuff like that. When it went no AAU, it was like your neighborhood against my neighborhood.
That's cool. That's crazy. But I mean, you say you was good at organizing things and getting guys to play and getting guys in order. So you kind of sound like you've been like having a coaching kind of mindset. You said you was a leader as a player. So is coaching something you always thought you would get into eventually, like when you finish playing?
To tell you the truth, no, because my grandmother, who's passed away now, she was a physical education teacher. My dad actually worked on the railroad for 33 years. He went to school at Fort Valley State and played basketball. Ended up doing his student teaching to be a coach. Never went through with it because he was making so much money at the railroad. My brother, actually the one that taught me into it. I came out of school with a business degree, and I was set to move to Grundy, Virginia to be a shoe salesman for J.C. Penney. I was going to run the whole J.C. Penney shoe department. And they had set me up to be in Grundy, Virginia, and right there next to Washington, D.C. And they was going to give me my own store and everything. And I got to the point where I just didn't like sales anymore. And I came home to Macon, Georgia one day, and my brother said, man, why don't you go into coaching, education? And I called my former coach that I played for at Milligan, and he set me up with another guy at Virginia Intermont College. And that's why I was a student assistant. And then that guy called Coach Green, who's the head coach here at Columbus State, and got me on as a grad assistant. And then I just stayed on. I worked my way all the way up to head coach. Been head coach here for 13 years, but I did 6 years as a student assistant and a grad assistant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what was that first coaching experience like? Like, were you nervous? Were you scared? What was that like?
As an assistant coach, it was more like these dudes are not better than me. So when I got them in the gym, I played them one-on-one, showed them a few tricks and trades of the game. But as a head coach, the first day I started coaching, I actually dialed 6 digits and then hit that 7 digit to ask my head coach, can I come back and still be an assistant? Because there's just so much on you when you slide over them 18 inches. Mm-hmm. Guys' attitudes, who you going to keep on the team, who you going to kick off. And at first, I didn't really want that just yet. And my coach said, man, stay there. It's going to work out for you. So I picked up that phone numerous of times and dialed 6 digits, but then pushed that 7 digit and said, man, I'm just going to work it out myself. And I made some mistakes along the way, but I learned from those mistakes. And I got with some good people, good administrators, good athletic directors, and they kind of mentored me into being who I am today, man. So you got to have good people on your side, man. You got to have good people behind you and people that believe in you. And that's what I want to give back to guys like Nelson. Because you got to have somebody in your corner, man. You can't make it in this world by yourself. And I've always been big on that.
Yeah, Coach, I appreciate you for that, Coach. If one person been on my side since I've been here, it's definitely been you. But
you, everything we ask you to do, you do it, so it's easy to be on your side.
I appreciate it, Coach. We all on the same team at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So, funny that you said that. So we go like, I feel like me and you. I used to tell Hunter this too. For those who don't know, my teammate Hunter that just graduated this year. I used to tell him all the time. I said, I feel like me and you, we get along well because like I thought we both have a get it out the mud kind of mentality. The way you did your years as a grad assistant, and then a student assistant. And then, you worked your way up from high school, and, you was a JUCO guy even when you played. So, like, everything you got, you eventually got to where you wanted to be, like you said, but everything you got, you kind of worked for it and got out the mud. And that's kind of how I approach everything now. It's like everything I have, I work for this, and, like, I've earned everything. And that keeps me going. And so I feel like that's why, like, our player-coach dynamic is so good because it's like, I'm gonna work for what I want, and you gonna work for what you want. So that makes us like go even harder for each other. I feel like.
Oh yeah, I like that, and I think more than anything, you being the best version of Nelson is the key. Like he said, introducing you today as the defensive player of the year in the Peach Belt. I want that to be player of the year in the Peach Belt. And I think with your mentality and what you're working on this summer, expanding your game to the 3-point line, making more drives when you got the ball in your hands, becoming more of a go-to guy that we throw it to you when we need a bucket. I think you're accomplishing that. And I tell people all the time, you can't become a player in August to February and March. You got to become a player in June and July and August when nobody ain't around watching and nobody ain't patting you on the back every day. You know it. I'm out raising money. I'm out trying to get camps together. You getting all that on your own right now. And then when you come in August, I see what your skill levels is like. And then that's when I put in plays and I do certain things to get the team around you. And I think that's what I like about you more than anything. You stay in the weight room, you do your conditioning, you do everything you need to do to make you the best player you can be. And then that makes my job easier because I know where to put you in spots to be successful. And I think that's what guys don't understand sometimes. You don't need a coach standing over you 24/7. You got to do some of that stuff on your own.
That's true. It's funny. I tell the guys on the team, like, if you want to be good, you can't just do what we do as a team. Like, you got to do more than that, because if you just do what we do, you only going to be as good as these guys around you. Like, if you want to elevate yourself past that and separate yourself, you got to do something to be separated, Right. And I feel like, that's kind of how I approach it. It's like, I lay, like, Coach, I tell you right now, I lay awake at night thinking I'd be scared. Like, am I going to be ready for the role that Coach put me in? I thought that before I came. And then I thought that the year, like, between, like, right. before, like, the summer between last year and this year, right. I've had the same mentality every year. Like, am I going to be ready for whatever position I'm in next year? Because I came in last year, I was like, man, we just got this D1 transfer from Troy. And then Hunter Preston was just, not all conference, all tournament team. It's like, man, I got to compete with these guys. So I was nervous about that. That kept me going. Right. And then the year before this year, you approached me and Hunter like, hey, I'm not bringing in no more bigs. It's just y'all. Like, right. I feel like I got the two best bigs in the league, so I'm rolling with y'all. Whatever you like, we go as far as y'all take us. And that had me in my bed at night, like, oh, like I can't let it be, Coach didn't put this faith in me and bet on me, so I can't, slack off. So every year, around this time, I be like worried, like I gotta be ready for whatever position I'm in next year, and that keeps me going. So, like, that's kind of how I approach every summer, every off season. Like, I gotta make sure I'm ready for whatever is to come next.
It gotta be a little fear in anything that you do, and I think sometimes people don't have that fear, so that's why they're not successful and it don't mean anything to them. You got, as a coach, I gotta have a fear of being fired one day. You, as a player, you got to have a fear I might not start or I might not be the best player in the conference. If you don't have that little bit of fear, and that's why the great ones like Kobe, Kevin Durant might work out 16 hours. Kobe going to try to work out 19, So you have to find ways to separate yourself from other people. And I think a lot of times we try to do some things that we're not good at, really concentrate on the things that you're really good at and become excellent at those things and see where it takes you. Because everybody is blessed with something. You blessed to block shots. Why would I work on being a shot blocker? I'm a 6'2" guard, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be good at what you're really good at, you know what I'm saying? Take that to another level. And I think that's why you have the superstars. They separated even in rap. You got your Jay-Z's, your Biggies, your Tupacs, your Lil Baby, and then you got them guys that got one-hit wonders because they separate themselves. Because you got to be excellent at what you do. And if you don't have anything to separate yourself, that's when it's all over.
That's facts, Coach. So we talked about kind of our dynamic right now as a player and a coach. So what kind of got you to recruit me from Bevel State before I came here? What was like what was like the thing that was like, oh, we need to go try to recruit Nelson, get him to come here?
We had just came off a year where we had lost in the Peace Belt Championship tournament. Great team, Zay Horton playing overseas now. We had two bigs on that team. We had Cam Paulden and a kid named Stanley Taylor. And then, Ant played some post, but those two guys are our main post guys. And we just felt like Cam wasn't really a scorer. And we like Tay was more like a role player because he didn't let his mental keep him in games. So I told Coach Butler, and we had Hunter that year too, but Hunter came off the bench early in the season, and then he kind of turned it on late. So those three guys was really what we was playing with. And I was like, what if we get Hunter somebody that can just kind of mesh with Hunter and be really, really great? So Coach Butler had seen you in an event in June. And he kind of like, I think he's going to get D1. I think he's going to get a lot of D2. But I'm just not sure on his skill level. And I was like, what are you talking about? So he came in because, COVID came and we watching film. And I was like, I watched 3 clips. And I was like, hey, man, you better call him right now. And I was like, he's the perfect fit of what we do because you move, you're agile, you got athleticism, and we play the amoeba on defense. And I said the other things that he need to work on, he can get all that here with our skill development. But I said, and you ain't gonna meet many guys 6'6", 6'7", run the floor like a deer, block shots, dunk it when he needs to. I said, we gotta take that guy. And he perfect. And that's when Coach Butler made the phone call. We got with your parents, got you on a Zoom call, showed you everything because you couldn't come for a visit. We just felt like you were the perfect fit for what we're trying to do as far as our amoeba defense, what we're trying to do offensively. And we thought you was a perfect match for Hunter Preston. And we felt like y'all could be the 2 best bigs in the league. And I mean, it showed. I mean, y'all put us in great situations to win championships. You fall short sometimes, but at the end of the day, you want to be there playing for it. And that's where we're at now.
I appreciate that, Coach. It ain't every day somebody value defense and junk like that. So I was just happy to hear that you was like, man, I saw you blocking shots and running. I was like, oh man, that's what I do. So shoot, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. I can't tell you enough, that I appreciate being here. And so I'm glad that Coach Butler showed you them clips because if you didn't, he might not have made that phone call. So,
and I think in today's game though, you got to put a team together. You just can't have 5 guys that want to go score. You saw what happened to the Lakers this year. Had a great roster, but those guys didn't mesh and then fit together. So it's almost like you fit a puzzle together. And from last year's team, sometimes we had some guys that didn't play their role and didn't fit the puzzle. And those guys decided to put their name in the transfer portal. You got to have guys that's on the same page and know their role. And if you don't want to do that, it's hard to win a championship. And you watching the 2 teams, I thought this year, Boston probably the best defensive team looking at the NBA championship. And I think Golden State plays defense, play well together. So you're looking at the 2 best teams that's playing for the championship in the NBA because all of them love playing for each other and they got one common goal to win a championship. Those teams that rely on other guys, superstar guys, they at the house. Philly, relying on James Harden at the house. Brooklyn, relying on Kyrie at the house. You got to have team guys, and no matter how talented you are, you got to have team guys and role players that know their role.
True. Yeah, that's true, Coach. I got to agree with you.
It don't take long to figure it out who playing team ball and who ain't.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like I like how you said the puzzle piece. I think about it like that too because we talk a lot on here about everybody got to play their role. It's important for you to play your role because you might feel like you are the centerpiece at this position or at this school,
right?
But then at this new position, you're the corner piece. So in order for you to fit into this puzzle, you got to figure out which piece you need to be to fit right here. And I'm glad you said that because it is not just us sound like we know it all. We had somebody else to validate what we talk about here.
And then one question y'all had on here that I saw today was who is someone that you feel is underrated, deserves more attention? And you said it could be a coach, player, or whoever. I mean, guys don't realize Jordan Poole for the Warriors, unsung hero. He's shooting a higher percentage from the free throw line than Steph Curry. When Klay Thompson was hurt, he played the go-to guy role, and he was that second scorer with Steph Curry when Klay was out. And now Klay back healthy, you got 3 guys that can score at any time. And I think he's the guy that I feel like is not getting the credit that he deserves because they wouldn't be in a position right now if it went for Jordan Poole.
Yeah, you're definitely right, man. We was talking about it when they played the Mavericks because he made some plays for them where Steph was on the bench and like he was like the go-to guy for a little while Steph was sitting. And he was getting buckets and keeping them afloat. Like he was keeping them, he kept the lead for them the whole time Steph was out. And it was just crazy to look at because it was like, man, like a year or two ago, we didn't know who this dude was for real.
He was in the
And
G
now,
League. Like,
exactly.
right? What we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
He was in the G League a year and a half ago, and now he a go-to player in the playoffs. Like,
finna get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, yeah, he
but
definitely
you know
finna get
that.
paid.
If you read the stories on him, he follows Steph Curry around everywhere and like just develop those habits that you can't take. You know what I'm saying? You got to work at it. Right. Now he made himself one of the premier guards in the NBA. Like, who wouldn't want that guy on their roster right now?
Yeah,
and that's just all in work and following the right people.
Yep. So yeah, this sounds good and all, Coach. You know, I appreciate the love that you two guys have between each other, but it's just you and me now. Okay, Nelson's not here. It's just you and me. What is it real like coaching Nelson? Like, be for real. Like, you ain't gotta be all PC. Just be for real. What's it like coaching?
Coachable guy is easy. You can tell him some things that he might not like, and he's gonna do whatever he can to make sure he get the job done. Well, you see some guys got pushed back, like, man, coach tripping today. Coach don't know what he's talking about. If I said just run the Burger King and sprint back, he gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because he feel like whatever, I got his best interest at heart. I'm not gonna tell him to do something that ain't gonna help our program, ain't gonna help our team. And he might have to sacrifice some scoring sometimes for his teammates for us to win. And he fine with that. Well, you got some guys like, coach, I can't give up my 18 points a game. You know, and you thinking we gonna win? I think I can get 25, and that ain't Nelson. And I think you have to have certain guys that believe in what you're trying to do. So, and I think games are not just won in 40 minutes. Games are won in the cafeteria, in the apartment, in the car when you ride with each other, when they having that bond together. He's gonna speak highly of the coaching staff because he know what we're trying to get to. So he ain't gonna have a guy riding with him saying negative comments. If that guy do make a negative comment, Nelson gonna come back with somewhere. What are you doing to help this situation? You know what I'm saying? So I think when you got people on your team that's all on the same page, it can help you put some of them fires out that you really normally can't put out because of guy being too selfish. And then when guys see him giving up a part of his game to help the team, then that's when all form together. Like, I need to give up something too to help. You know. So I think that's where the Nelsons and the Hunters come in, because those guys are just good people and understand what we're trying to do. And it ain't all about them. When you get it to the point where it's all about you, that's what I think you lose anyway. And I've always been in coaching saying it's about my players and where they want to go. And whatever I get in return, that's fine, but that ain't my ultimate goal. I want to see Nelson succeed in life. I want him to have a good life with his kids, his grandkids, you know. And I think some people don't see it that way.
Man, it's like, this funny because like this song, like little quick like story about me and Coach. Like this song, I have always forgot. I'll never forget. I remember ever since he said it. And when I tell you, gonna be like, man, that like, what does that even mean? But like it meant something to me when he said it. So I remember my first year here, we had 6 a.m. workouts and stuff going on. We doing conditioning at 6 o'clock in the morning, like weights and conditioning. So one of them days we had just finished. And I getting ready to take my stuff off and leave. And I said, man, coach, the people at the calf told me yesterday they finna have chocolate chip pancakes. So I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to slide over there. Coach said, and then somebody, I think Coach Butler was like, man, that's all you care about is some food, this and this and this. Coach Moore was like, man, Nelson, I'm just glad you happy. he said, some people wake up every day and be miserable because they got to go to work and go to a job that they don't love. But you wake up every day, you be happy to be here. I'm just happy that you happy. And he just don't know, but that hit me right here. When he said that, I was like, man, that meant a lot to me. I ain't never forgot that day he said that. I think that probably that one little moment, like, was probably one of the reasons. Like, I know he got my best interest at heart. Because I was
think about what you guys doing right now. If y'all dreaded what y'all was doing, it wouldn't be the show that it is. You got to be happy in what you do. And right. I think sometimes people doing jobs and doing things they're not happy with. And I mean, no matter how much money you make, if you ain't happy,
it won't matter.
It don't matter. So and that's one of the things I always thought about you. You want to be at Columbus State. Why have a guy who say, man, I should have went D1 or I should have went here? No, we need guys that want to be at Columbus State.
Facts. And I just that's never been lost on me. Like coach want me to be happy. He has my best interest at heart. And so like you said, and I told somebody the other day, they was like, man, you work out a lot by yourself. And I said, yeah, because if somebody got to tell you to do it, you don't really love it for real.
No.
Like I love basketball. I want to be good. I want to be like the best version of me that I can be, like you said. And so I do it without nobody asking me. I hit Carl up and like, hey, can we get in the gym tomorrow? And if he say, nah, I ain't gonna be there, I still go. Like I'm gonna just go and do the stuff that we would normally do. Like nobody got to tell me to do it. And so that's how it is, man. I'm happy to be here. It makes me happy to play here at Columbus State. So I'm trying to be the best that I can be. But we getting down to about the nitty gritty now. I think B got a couple more questions.
So yeah, 2016, you won the Coach of the Year of the Peach Belt. Tell me about that. Like, what did that mean to you? And like, what was that moment of like validation like for you?
And I'm glad you asked about that, because I think it was really humbling for me, because when I came into the league, I had just got through coaching high school. And I'm talking about I'm not coaching at a high level high school. I'm coaching right here in town at Brookstone, private school guys. Most of them guys going to college on academics. And so when I got in the league, guys was like, man, we finna tear him up. He ain't had no college experience for a while. You know, I had been coaching college, but I got away from it for a while. So I was like, I'm not going to be a sounding board. So the biggest thing for me was to try to get this program to back where when you come to Columbus State, you know you're in for a dog fight. And then when you get to that point where everything is competition, when you come in here, not winning or losing, it matters right now. You can't get blowed out. So if Montebello come in here, USC Aiken, it got to be 82, 81, 83, 82. We got to get the fans back into it. And so that first year, I think we went like 13 and 15. The second year, we lose in the Peach Belt Championship game. And I got this thing going in the right direction. And then 2016 come around, and we had one of our better teams than we don't had in a long time. And I'm like, man, I finally got it. So we had a kid named Cam Baker that year that should have won Player of the Year, but they gave it to a guy at Georgia College. And I felt like with that team that I finally had got Columbus State to where it should be. And Nelson will tell you, in this school, tennis, baseball, softball, we all compete for championships. Like this year alone, we won the Commissioner's Cup. We had the most points of any school in the conference in any sport. And we also had every team go to the NCAA tournament except one. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. And Nelson will tell you, everything ain't fine around here. You got to win games. And I think that we put pressure on ourselves as coaches on this campus to be as successful as we can. So that's when we put pressure on our guys to be the best version of you every day, on and off the court. And I think that we win championships. And that's why we so successful here at Columbus State. So it was, and to answer your question, it was big for me because it validated that, hey, this high school dude y'all talking about, he really got something here to be reckoned with. And, you know, y'all got to go through them every night. And that's how it's been, you know. So,
yeah, I respect that for sure. So with the Coach of the Year, we had an episode about this discussing the definition, pretty much the different awards. You know, Coach of the Year, that was probably like the one we spent the longest time on because we have a deep appreciation for coaching. Like it means a lot to us, and we understand the importance of it. So, what's your definition of like, what's the criteria to be the Coach of the Year in your opinion?
Your team got to win, no doubt. I think sometimes I see it in the NBA. It be the Raptors. They won 16 games last year. They win 32, and we get a Coach of the Year. No, I think it has to be that guy who, like Phoenix coach. Phoenix was nowhere until that coach got there, and you know he made the general manager get people like Chris Paul and that kind of stuff. Those are types of guys, because I think when you mediocre, it's okay. You be the most improved coach. You're not the Coach of the Year. The Coach of the Year got to be the first or second place team where this guy has every night went out and his team has performed to a high level, and he had something to do with that. And I think sometimes we as coaches sometimes give it to a guy because his team don't improve from the bottom to the top. Well, they had a long way to go. And sometimes we give it to a team that's in 10th that get to 7th. That ain't coach of the year. Get it to that dude that went from 10th to 1st, or get it to that dude that went from 5th to 1st. The dude being first last year and he was first again, getting back to back coach of the year. He got to give it to him because somebody got to beat him before he give up the title. And I think sometimes we don't feel that way, but that's supposed to be coach of the year. It ain't. I don't have some improvement. No, win something. I tell them all the time. If y'all want to go to the tournament, beat Aiken 3 times, and they beat Aiken on their flow. They beat Aiken at home. I say y'all got to beat them 3 times. If you can't beat them 3 times, you don't deserve to go because you put yourself in that position by losing some games early in the year. It's all about winning. We talk about it. We went to the NCAA tournament. We lost to Queens. We was up the whole game. Obviously, we didn't do anything to stop the run, so we should be still playing. So Queen deserved to go because they did what they supposed to do to win the game. We got to find ways to win those type of games when we there. Everybody talk about, man, it was a great game. Y'all should have won. We didn't win the game. So that's put the pressure on Nelson next year to go to a different round. Let's go to another round. You can't be satisfied with that. They don't give out trophies for y'all played well. Good year.
No participation trophies around here.
It's all about championships.
Man, that's funny because like we play, you know, we're gonna ask you about that a little later, but that's probably my one of my biggest lessons that I've gotten basketball wise from here, from you. Because I tell you about this all the time. When last year when we was playing during the COVID year, the coach used to be on me all the time saying Nelson just walking around having a good time. Every time I see Nelson, he got a milkshake or some Chick-fil-A or something. He always got food. Nelson having a good time around here. And then there was that day in my individual me in the middle of the year. You was like, Nelson, sometimes I think you just walk around here like everything is okay, and it ain't. Everything not okay.
Not okay.
Everything not okay. Like I know you having a good time. You know this is a nice school. Everything. I know you enjoy yourself, and I want you to enjoy yourself. But I need you to realize like everything is not good. We're not winning. We're not in. We're not beating the teams we need to beat. This and this and this, and then. I ain't really the whole time you were telling me that I was like, man, coaches, he being petty about certain things because I'm always eating and junk like that. I don't think you just nitpicking. But then when we go to College of Charleston and then had that COVID situation happen and then the season got cut off and we was 5-7 and we ain't had no more games. Wasn't going to no tournament. Wasn't going to the NCAA tournament. Nothing. It was just over. And then I had to sit back in my room like, man, like everything was not okay. Like it's not okay.
And I think sometimes as young people, because y'all are young, y'all don't take like this is a blessing today to be the best I can be in practice games. And you're like, oh, we got another game. We're gonna catch that team. You know what I'm saying? No, every game is important, every practice is important. They don't give out scholarships if they don't think the practice should be important. They don't give out uniforms. They don't think the game is important. And I think sometimes guys like, man, I had a bad freshman year, but I'm gonna be good my sophomore year. No, we're gonna bring another dude in that's ready to go now. So you can be replaced. And I think sometimes we don't look at it that way. We think we got time and you running out of time. So that's why I try to hey, my best comment, be urgent.
Got to be urgent. But so that was one of my biggest like basketball lessons. So what would you say is one of the biggest lessons or lessons that basketball has taught you in all these years of playing and coaching that you've had?
Oh, the biggest thing for basketball, man, never give up. I mean, you could be at your lowest point. I mean, just think about Boston Celtics this year. They was in last place early in the year. And they was about getting rid. They were thinking about getting rid of the coach. Thought they had made the wrong move. And now these guys playing for NBA championship. Basketball is that one sport that you can just keep fighting. Something good gonna happen. And I think sometimes that I use that in life. Like I might be down and out in March, but when April comes, I'm back at the top. And I think that's what basketball has taught me. You're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows, but just don't get too down. Everything's gonna be good if you keep working at it. Now you start working, You're going to slide all the way to the bottom, believe me. But if you keep fighting and keep working and got people keep believing in what you're doing, basketball is that one sport, boy. It can be some lows now. You can lose 5, 6 in a row. When you turn that thing on and get that thing clicking, it can be 15, 16 in a row. And you like, man, I don't think nobody can get us, So, and that's what basketball has taught me, man. It's going to be some ups and downs, but if you keep fighting, good things going to happen. And I affirmed it when I walk through them back doors and come into my office every day. I still think in the back of my mind, national championship coming. We just got to get the right pieces available. And you seen it this year. We beat Augusta, who lost in the national championship game. Like we had the pieces to be a national championship team. So but anything else, everything got to go right. People can't get hurt. People can't get selfish. Augusta had everything go right for them, So you got to look at it that way too, because you look at the Buffalo Bills, they went to how many Super Bowls and lost. So everything got to go right, but keep fighting.
You're right.
So, yeah, Coach, what are some of your philosophies and thought processes that that you rely on? Because, like you said, never give up and never quit, because never something can change. So, like, what are some of the things that that you preach to players all the time? Like some things that are your non-negotiables, like this. Well, no matter what, we are going to do this, and we're not going to do these things. So, what are your things that?
It's interesting that you asked this, and I'm gonna go in a different direction on this, because I feel like sometimes nowadays we get away from like what we truly believe in to try to satisfy a human being or satisfy guys around that human being. And I think you got to get to the point of your core. What are your core? Do you believe in conditioning? So don't let a guy get out of conditioning. So that's what I'm big on. Like whatever I believe in, if I think conditioning is going to work, we're going to keep doing our conditioning program. I'm not going to cut it back because I got a 6'8", 245 that can't make the mile time. I'm not going to recruit that guy. So and Nelson will tell you, him and Hunter came in the top 3 to 4 guys running the 5-mile run. And so those guys in great shape. We only had one game where one of these guys was in foul trouble. They could play 35, 40 minutes every night. So that's one of my non-negotiables. You're going to be in shape. If you ain't going to run, you're not playing. And so I think, and we play the amoeba defense. If you're not going to learn the amoeba, you're not playing. So those type of things I'm not going to bend on, because I feel like those are CSU core Coach Moore, Columbus State basketball. And so I'm not going to bend on those at all. Now, I might let you take a couple of extra more shots. I might let you do a step back. I don't care about stuff like that, because if you work on it in the gym, Nelson will tell you, I'm going to let you shoot it. But you going to play my amoeba, you're going to talk on defense, and you're going to be in condition. If you ain't in that, you ain't playing. And I think those are two things I'm just really, really big on. Because if you listen to the Queens coach in this press conference, they'd never seen a defense like that. They didn't know what hit them, and we had a chance to win the game. And I think all those leagues that play all man-to-man and don't see what we do every night, they be in trouble. Nelson will tell you, Huntsville, one of the best teams running the Princeton offense, in trouble that night with us. So if you got guys that believe in that defense and that will talk on that backside, I feel like you're in trouble every night. And I think our guys do a good job of that. And we hang our hat on that every night. So we were one of the top defensive team in Division II this year, because guys really believe in amoeba. And if you don't believe in it, transfer, man, because that's what we're going to play. And I don't bend on those kind of things. And Nelson will tell you, a guy might walk in one day in practice, he ain't feeling well. I ain't big on that kind of stuff. Sit out, man. We got other dudes over here. But if you ain't gonna play my amoeba and you ain't in top shape, you ain't playing. That's just big on me. And Nelson don't came in tight. Like, man, let him roll on you, hamstring, whatever you gotta do. We don't live to see another day. But know what we trying to do when the scout comes, and we big on that.
Yeah, Coach. That I feel like that's why I earned a lot of my minutes at, because that amoeba. Like Coach tell me every night now. He say, "Man, Nelson, you the quarterback of that amoeba. You got to tell guys where to go. You see everything. Talk to them. Talk on D. It's gonna start with you on that defensive end." And so I take a lot of, because coaching put me in that position. I take a lot of pride in being that guy in our amoeba. Like, hey, switch this. Hey, it's coming back screen. Hey, switch that right there. I take a lot of pride in doing that. And I tell Coach all the time, when the amoeba work perfectly, oh my God, I'd be more happy about that than offense or than scoring. Because I'd be like, oh man, we just ran everything perfectly, switched everything, locked guys up. Like the Lander game, we played Lander at home, and we really like locked in on the scout because they had beat us the first time, and we felt like we should not have lost that game. And then we came in and we really like locked up they motion offense, and they couldn't really get things going. And so there was one particular play where they have like a little cross screen off ball action, and one guy cut and one guy flashed out for the 3, and we switched it perfectly. And I cut the guy off, and they just threw the ball out of bounds because they thought he was gonna be there, and he wasn't. Ooh, coach, you should say, hey, if you ever get checked, go back and watch the film and watch me when that happened. I just bust out yelling. I'm just hollering because I'm like, man, we playing defense, like we're doing it. So that I'm gonna have to coach that into my own team one day if I ever get into coaching because I love it now.
I'm telling y'all, both of y'all, right now, please watch Boston Celtics defense. It ain't gonna be as easy for the Warriors as everybody think. Them guys guard you, and they have everybody's on the same wavelength, and you ain't got no open shots. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they guard Steph Curry and Poole and all them guys. Because I'm telling you, they remind me of y'all when I be watching Boston Celtics play. Man, their defense unbelievable.
Yeah, I love it too, Cole. I told B when they got ready to play the Heat, I said I can't wait to just see the defense between Boston and Miami because that's what they hang their hat on.
Right.
And so like that was a great thing for me. So I'm ready for that too. I'm just trying to see how they guard and who's guarding who and how they rotate. I have to pay attention to all that.
Right.
Yeah. But that's it for me. B, you got any more questions for Coach before we get out of here?
I want you to toot your horn a little bit, man. So currently you have 14 players that went pro.
Right.
And we're working on getting a couple more. So hopefully we can add to that list. But what does that mean to you, man, to have 14 players go pro?
It's been big for me because I think a long time ago, like I told y'all, when I played, and then some guys after me played, they can get with like one American overseas. And now I think the way the game is played and you can make money in smaller leagues, I think it gives us as Black men other opportunities that we normally didn't have. And you get to see the world. And I can't take full credit for it. Some of my guys that played on the 2011, 2012 team, those guys started the process. I was able to stay in touch with all the agents that dealt with them. And now these guys pick up the phone and be like, Coach, you got somebody this year? You got somebody this year? And those are kind of things that just had the thing rolling now. So it's almost like every year we're going to have one or two guys go because everybody know we're going to have players that fit that style of play overseas. And we do in Nelson and Ted, we do a lot of player development so a guy like Nelson can expand his game so he can be an overseas player. Because if he stayed on the block the whole time, he might get one team to like him, but let's get several teams to like him the way he plays. And that's been a key for us. So, you got to give credit to my assistant coaches for the development part of it. And then just I want to toot my own horn by staying in touch with those guys. We got 2 or 3 of the guys that are playing overseas now. They'll be playing pickup with Nelson them this summer coming home. So just embracing those guys and letting them guys come back and train in our facility. Columbus State letting me go over there a few times to watch those guys play, to meet general managers and that kind of thing. I think it's been big. And I love that. And I think it helps our recruiting because guys know they're going to get a chance to play. We almost lost Nelson this year. He probably could have just took a little money and left, but he decided to come back because if he expands his game and get more to his game, it's going to be more money on the table. And why not take a chance on that? You already got your degree. What else you want? Just bet on yourself. And I think that's been big for us. So I can't take all the credit on that because we got some older guys that played that helped me out on that. They started playing overseas and they introduced me to a lot of people. And that thing had just got to the point where we got somebody going over there every year.
All right. So, Coach, this is my last question for you. And, you ain't gotta, be nice because you talking to me or whatever. But so this year, like you said, I kind of took a big jump offensively and took my game to another level. But that's like you said, a lot of things, really pretty much all in thanks to, the coaching staff and stuff that we have helping me in skill development and player development and stuff like that. But so, my first year here, I only averaged 4 points a game. I averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks, or right at 2 blocks. And then this year, I boosted all that to about 10 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, and 2.5 blocks. Won Defensive Player of the Year, made the all-tournament team for the Peach Belt tournament, and had several big scoring games. I think I had 18 both times we played Southwestern.
How many you had at Queens? You had 20-something at Queens, right?
No, I only had 10 at Queens. Yeah, and then 25 against Augusta in the Peach Belt tournament. So the player that I am now, doing some of the things I'm doing now, when you originally recruited me to come here, did you ever think or see me doing the things that I'm doing now, at least offensively?
Yes and a no. I knew you would improve because of the player development and the type of guy you are. You're going to work at it. A part of me was, is he going to be a guy to get satisfied, or he going to strive for more? And you proved me wrong on that. You striving for more. So it's a kind of yes, no, but happy that you have done that, because now it makes our recruiting a little easier. Do we go get a scoring Hunter Preston, or do we let you be the scorer and go get a guy to be a role player, or do we get both of y'all where both of y'all can score? That would be the ultimate. So those are kind of things that we look at now. So we're not in a hurry to rush to sign somebody in that spot, because you have improved so much offensively. Where before, man, we can't have Nelson out there if Hunter ain't out there, And it has changed our thought process because you have improved. And you know that sometimes you can't play 5-on-4 if this other guy out there can't score. And and that's one of the things I like about our player development, and get guys in a situation where they can help offensively, because the game has changed where you got to have enough guys on the floor that can score.
Right. And I never forget, cause I knew my life was changing that day against Georgia Southwestern, and we got in that timeout on that media, and you said, "Hey man, Nelson got it going, so we go out here, we go run box 2." That day you said that, I remember I looked around like, "Is it real?" I thought this must have been a dream or something. He ain't never said that. Right. I've been playing for you for a whole year and about a year and a half now, because we in conference. And you said Nelson got to go and we finna run and play for him. And I was like, yo, I must have came up in the world. And then I remember we went out there, ran, and I scored. I was like, okay, this is what it is now. So I just I can't tell you, Coach, I appreciate you. What you did for me in my career up until this point, and what you still are doing for me. I want you to know how grateful I am to be here, happy to be a Cougar, and I'm gonna keep on putting the work in for one last ride I got with you. So I just want to tell you I appreciate it.
Striving for a championship, you know that. And keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it, Coach. But that's it for me. B, is there anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
No, that's it. Got anything you want to promote, Coach? Anything you want to share with the people before we get out of here?
Just keep supporting Columbus State University basketball, all sports. You got some great young men in our program. You can start with Nelson Haskin. But I'm looking for big things from this team. I think we have put together a great squad that's going to play team basketball. Just come out and support, man. I think a lot of people miss out because they think it's Division II. You don't get the pull that a Kentucky, North Carolina get, but you got some really good basketball players in Division II. And come out and watch, man. Just bring your family out. Do whatever you can to come out and watch these guys perform. They just play at a high level. There's high-level games going on. So just keep supporting athletics throughout and be a big supporter of Columbus State University.
All right, cool. Well, that does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening. We hope y'all enjoyed this interview of my guy, Coach Moore. And we hope y'all got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed what he had to say and the stories he had to tell. And with that being said, follow Brian on social media at BeBall Jones that's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok. So be sure to go on there and check him out and give him a follow. And then you can follow me at Nelson.Haskin on Instagram and at NellyH34 on Twitter, and just my name Nelson Haskin on Facebook. And be sure to like and subscribe this episode. Be sure to leave comments down below. If there's any questions you have for Coach, if y'all put it in there, I'll see it. I can ask him later. So y'all get in the comments for me, and let us know anything else you want to hear. Let us know anybody else you think about us interviewing. We might try to make it happen for y'all. But also follow Coach, man. Coach got social media out here. It's
at CSU Coach Moore, man.
At CSU Coach Moore on everything. So y'all can go follow Coach too, man. Especially preferably if you 6'7" plus, you can go follow Coach at CSU Coach Moore. Yeah, there we go. So at CSU Coach Moore on the screen. But without further ado, man, that's it for another episode of BeBall Jones Podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening, and we out.